Hello boys and girls, thanks for tuning into this video lesson. Prior to your arrival in class on Tuesday for science, I'd like you to prepare a little bit by listening to this lesson and listening to some of the terms and vocabulary used again that you've already been studying, and even building upon some of the old studies with some new knowledge that you acquire in this video. Take a look at this tooth diagram. It is of the human mouth. We have an upper arch and a lower arch. Let's start by studying the incisors. We thought there might have been just 4 incisors, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, 2 on the upper arch and 2 on the lower arch. However, there are 8, and you can see 4 incisors over here, and then 4 incisors over there on the upper and the lower arches. We have studied that they bite and cut food, and it makes sense that being at the front of your mouth, that their job would be to bite and make the initial or first cut. Cats, dogs, pigs, foxes, and horses actually have 4 incisors, and you can take a look at that if you have one of those pets at home. And cats actually don't use these types of teeth to bite their food. You know which types of teeth cats use to actually bite their food? They actually use their canines, which is the next tooth that I want us to take a look at. We have 4 canines, and they all look pretty similar. They're pointed. That is their distinguishing feature, and I'm marking the 4 canines over here. 2 on the upper arch and 2 on the lower arch, but a total of 4. Not only do they tear food, but one thing, and I think you'll notice this if you try, if you have a piece of meat or something, maybe like broccoli even, they hold the food in place. So they tear and they hold food. There are some canines that actually look like incisors. If you take a look at them, they do look kind of similar actually. But canines that actually look like incisors are called incisiforms. They're often the largest teeth in a mammal's mouth. Like I said, we have 4 canines, and males typically have larger canines in most species. They're also known as your eye teeth. Now here's the interesting thing about canines that I want to talk about. We have studied that they are called cuspids, right? Canines are called cuspids. A cuspid is like a point, or it's like a bump. Well, consider it more like a point rather than a bump. I'll take you to a picture here. These are canines, also known as cuspids. Cusp really means point, and if you look at each of these canines, you will identify in each of them 1 point over here on all of the canines. They don't have 2. They have 1 point. That's going to be different from another kind of tooth called a bicuspid, also known as a premolar. Take a look at the difference in points between the cuspid. Cusp again means point. With your canines, known as cuspids, there is 1 point. I'll mark it with this. We've got 1 point there, 1 point there, 1 point there, 1 point there, just a cuspid. But take a look at the premolar, also known as the bicuspid. Bi means 2. We've got 1 point there, the second point there. 2 points. We use the word bi for the word 2, like in bicycle. This type of tooth is called a bicuspid. This is how premolars and canines are different, or how cuspids and bicuspids are different. Focus on these teeth here, diagonal from one another. Cuspids have 1 point, bicuspids have 2 points. Cuspids are known as canines with 1 point. Bicuspids are known as premolars with 2 points. Wait until we study the molar. That has a lot of cusps or points. Anyhow, let's get back to our studies here. The premolar, it's one of the more fascinating teeth. Let me do a little bit of erasing here for you. And check this out. So the premolar, what's neat about the premolar is that you'll notice the premolar is in between 2 other kinds of teeth. Can you notice, or do you notice what 2 other kinds of teeth a premolar are in between? The premolar is in between the molars, and it's in between the canine teeth. So check it out. Between the canines right here and the molars right there are your premolars. So we call them transitional teeth because they're kind of in the middle, and they're kind of between the canines and the molars. And because of that, they actually have a kind of an in-between job. The premolars actually do a little bit of what the molars do, grind, and the premolars also do a little bit of what the canines do, tear. So premolars, consider them kind of like a hybrid tooth. They do a little bit of what the canines do and what the molars do. And then finally, we have the molars. In this example, we have, well, first of all, molars grind food, and when you make your foil drawings, you want to make them look such so that they would be a grinding thing, and you want to make your cuspids or your canines look like they tear food, and your incisors look like they would be made to bite food. But molars, just like premolars, they grind food. They are the teeth that are furthest back in your mouth, and you'll notice you have two bottom molars over here. Now what you don't see in this spot right here, maybe, and right here are your third molar. So this could be your first, second, and this would be your third molar, first, second, and this would be your third molar. That third molar is known as your wisdom tooth. And that wisdom tooth will enter your mouth and start growing in there probably around the time you're, late in high school, 19, 20 years old, maybe early college or even earlier in your 30s. Some people need to have it taken out because it starts to grow in, and then it starts to push all these other teeth. Some people don't need to take it out. It's underneath your gum right now, and it's going to start growing in a few years. You can come back to my classroom and let me know if you ever had your wisdom teeth out then, but they're also known as your third molars. Finally, to end this video here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some pictures, and this is going to be really relevant to what we're going to be making on Tuesday in class with the foil. Take a look here. You've already heard me talk a little bit about the cuspids and the bicuspids, and canines are cuspids. Cuspids have 1 point. Bicuspids have 2 points. You can see bi meaning 2, so bicuspids have 1 and 2 points, 1 and 2 points. These are also known as premolars. Cuspids have 1 point right here, as you can see them where the dot is, and they're known as canines. Look at these incisors though. It's pretty neat. Here are your incisors. These are the roots of the incisors, and look at their shapes. Certainly flat at the bottom, and that's how you want to make them. These are your upper arch incisors, and these are your lower arch incisors. And still kind of flat at the top here. They have this flat, look how this flat these flat surfaces allow for the cutting. Size itself, that word means to cut. And look at your molar. I said we'd kind of differentiate between the premolars and the molars. Well, a premolar, also known as a bicuspid, has 2 points. Okay, but look at a molar. Look how many points it has. Look at how many cusps it has. 1 cusp, 2 cusps, 3 cusps, 4 cusps, 5 cusps. When you make your foil teeth, you really want to distinguish and differentiate between your molars, also known as your molars over here, which have multiple cusps or points, 5, and your premolars or your bicuspids, which have 2 points. So you'll be able to tell the difference between your molars, which have multiple cusps or points, 5 in this case, and your premolars or bicuspids, which just have 2 cusps. Take a look at this. You know what this is? In most cartoons that you see on TV, most funny sketches, or just even regular sketches of teeth, they portray or show a premolar, which is a bicuspid. Here's cusp 1, cusp 2. In the key, number 9 refers to the cusps, 2 cusps. But if you look at a molar, there are many cusps on the molar, 5 in this case. Molars can have anywhere between 4 and 6 cusps. Finally, last thing I'd like to show you is this picture. This is a walrus. And we were talking about canines earlier, canines being the cuspids, having 1 point at the top. But walrus have really long canines. And here they are, and you can certainly tell they're used for tearing food, possibly, of course, even holding food. That's it for now. Time for you to watch the video. I'll see you in class Tuesday. We're going to spend some time making foil teeth, and I really want you to consider the subtleties of making a tooth with foil by looking at how many cusps they have. 1 for the cuspid or canine, 2 for the bicuspid or premolar, and multiple for the molar. Okay, and then take a look at how the incisors are made as well. See you later. Bye. Take your survey, by the way. It's there. It's ready for you. Bye.